Gather round and listen closely, for I have a tale to tell. A tale of the wild, untamed West, a time when men ventured into the unknown, seeking fortune and adventure. It was the summer of 1924, in the rugged wilderness of Washington State, near the majestic Mount St. Helens. A group of prospectors, 5 in all, sought their fortune in the depths of Ape Canyon. These were hardy men, accustomed to the rigors of the wilderness. Fred Beck, their leader, knew the mountains like the back of his hand. John Peterson, Marion Smith, Gabe Lefevre, and Roy Smith, each with their own skills and dreams, joined him in this quest for gold. They established a humble cabin near a creek, a simple structure of wood that offered meager protection against the elements. For days they toiled, panning for gold in the icy streams, their hopes rising with each glimmer in the pan. But the mountains held secrets, ancient and unsettling. Secrets that whispered on the wind through the towering pines, secrets that lurked in the shadows of the deep woods. One afternoon, while working near the creek, Marion Smith noticed something unsettling. Large, unfamiliar footprints marked the muddy banks. Later, as dusk settled, he saw a figure amongst the trees, a hulking form covered in hair, its eyes gleaming in the fading light. He told his companions, but they dismissed it as an overactive imagination. That night, as they sat around the campfire, sharing stories and laughter, a large rock crashed down the hillside, landing with a thud near their camp. Startled, they searched the surrounding woods but found no culprit. Unease settled upon them as they retreated to their cabin for the night. But the night was far from over. Around midnight, a deafening crash jolted them awake. Rocks, some the size of a man's head, rained down upon the cabin. The walls shook, the roof groaned, and terror gripped the men inside. They grabbed their rifles and fired blindly into the darkness, but the attackers remained unseen. John Peterson, peering through a crack in the wall, caught a glimpse of the assailants. Tall, shadowy figures with luminous eyes, moving with unnatural speed and agility. They were surrounded, trapped in their flimsy cabin, with unseen forces closing in. The barrage continued relentlessly. Hours stretched into an eternity as the men huddled together, their fear growing with each passing moment. As dawn approached, they knew they could not remain trapped any longer. They made a desperate dash for safety, firing their weapons and yelling in a vain attempt to ward off their attackers. But the creatures were relentless, pursuing them through the dense undergrowth. In the chaos, Marion Smith, the prospector who had first seen the creature, was struck by a rock and fell unconscious. His companions, fearing for their own lives, were forced to abandon him. They fled down the mountainside, leaving their friend behind in that desolate and dangerous place. What became of Marion Smith? Did he succumb to his injuries, alone and vulnerable in the wilderness? Did he regain consciousness only to face a more gruesome fate at the hands of the creatures? Or did he somehow manage to escape, forever haunted by the memory of that terrifying night? The answer, like so much else about this incident, remains shrouded in mystery. The surviving prospectors eventually reached civilization, battered and bruised, their minds reeling from the ordeal. They recounted their story to the authorities, but were met with disbelief and ridicule. Some dismissed it as a tall tale, others as a drunken hallucination. But the story of Ape Canyon persisted, becoming a legend whispered among those who knew the secrets of the mountains. Years later, Fred Beck, the leader of the ill-fated expedition, wrote a book about his experience. He maintained that the creatures were not mere animals, but something more, something almost supernatural. He described them as ape-men, and even suggested they might be extra-dimensional beings. The Ape Canyon incident remains one of the most intriguing and debated encounters in Bigfoot lore. Was it a genuine encounter with unknown creatures, or an elaborate hoax? Was it a case of mistaken identity, or a glimpse into a hidden world beyond our understanding? Whatever the truth may be, the story of Ape Canyon serves as a chilling reminder of the mysteries that still lurk in the wild places of our world. It is a tale that captures the imagination, prompting us to question what we know and to wonder what else might be out there, hidden in the shadows, waiting to be discovered.